Fox 5 and Hot 97 present Street Soldiers with Lisa Evers.
I'm so glad you're joining us for our weekly Street Soldiers TV show. I'm your host, Lisa Evers. This is a special episode of exclusive interviews with two very different men, but they both have something in common. Each succeeded against the odds using hip-hop as a prime motivator. I had exclusive access backstage at Barclays with 50 Cent during the Brooklyn stop of his international Final Lap tour. I was also given exclusive access at City Hall with New York City Mayor Eric Adams. He took me on a private tour of hip-hop art displayed in the historic building for the first time.
Here at City Hall, and our goal was to use these posters to show the evolution. And you remember the good old days? $2, $3, $5, you know? And these are really iconic posters, and you just saw the creativity, nothing fancy.
We'll have much more of my exclusive interview with the mayor later on in the show. 50 Cent was relaxed as we met up for our one-on-one sit-down interview. It's been 20 years since his first album went platinum 9 times, and 20 years since he did his first TV interview with me at the start of my Fox 5 TV career. A milestone moment for sure. We're here at the Crown Club in a hidden section of the Barclays Center in Brooklyn with the one and only 50 Cent. So great to see you, man.
Wow, it's great to see you again.
Great to see you. How does it feel to be back here in New York after you've been all over the world?
Yeah, it feels great, man. And then I kind of get the kinks out of the show before I get here. Because it's important to me to leave New York on a super high note. You know that. I only get to get back to the town.
Because of New York fans.
Yeah. And they're different. They've seen me throughout my career, so I got to bring something. I got to show more showmanship than usual and do some things that they haven't seen from me before.
So little surprises that they wouldn't have seen on your social media?
A few surprises. There's not. I like that they saw those things because I changed things.
Oh, good.
For New York, you know. Like.
And what gave you the whole idea to do this Final Lap tour? Like, such a big tour, because just the list of cities, I mean, every time I'm getting updates from your staff, yeah, it's more cities more countries involved now, too.
Well, I've traveled, toured internationally on every single record, like every album I've gone out, but I haven't done it as extensively as this run is, and I won't be able to commit to that again because of my film and television, things that are going on there, and then I currently have 30 shows across 10 different networks, so I'll be back and working on that. I won't be able to, maybe they'll see me spot date or something like that, but they'll never see me tour like this again. Like, you know.
With that many cities and that many dates and so many venues
and it feels like almost like 4 days, I'm performing 4 days out of the week.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
And how do you keep the motivation up and the energy up? Because some of those dates too, you're in different places like day to day.
Traveling. But it's exciting though. It's still fun to get out and to do it. I don't think, look, most of the time I think when artists early on, if they're not having fun, it's from anxiety.
Right.
From, wanting the audience to register them the right way. And at this point in my career, they've already shown me the love. So it's like, I'm just putting together the best possible show I can deliver to them right now. And it has to change, the show has to change repeatedly because of social media, they start to expose it.
Right.
And out of their excitement.
Yeah.
They were there for it, they showed the other people, and then you just got to change it. You got to evolve the set list and change the things that are happening in the show.
Let's take it back to the beginning, okay? 2003, 2002, the early 2000s, you were nearly killed. You survived this horrible shooting. You had a record deal that was in the works or done and then it got canceled. You end up having to go back and really push out your mixtapes and your music yourself with a very small team of people. A lot of people wrote you off at that point until Get Rich or Die Trying came out and has since gone 9 times platinum. But what was it that kept you going?
When I made the decision to not be in the street, music was the option for me. And I looked at it like I won't leave no stones unturned, and I do what I have to do to make that happen. But at the point that I was shot, it changed. Going back to the neighborhood wasn't an option. I was being shot from the neighborhood,
right,
by the neighborhood. You know what I mean? And to make to double down and go after creatively and make music and different things, that came gradually, and along with a thought process that was probably the craziest version of me. So it was fueling everything that I was doing at that point. Like, and it's just, I think how people channel when they hurt in different ways, it can form a depression, or you can get angry because you hurt. You know what I mean? And mine, it was more comfortable. Anger was just a more comfortable feeling for me than to be heartbroken or hurt about something like that happening, because it happens in the environment. It's not a one-off.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things that happen. So when it happens to you, I mean, you can sit there and all you can really do is say, it's not muscles. Like, you can't get shot 9 times because you got muscles. You know what I mean? It's just, look at it like it's something that was meant to happen to you, or it was in the cards for you. Like, so you just bounce back. You don't, like, I don't allow anything to stop me from what I want to do. I had bigger obstacles in front of me before success. Then now it's like that, what they consider a roadblock is like a bump.
You're like going, I can do this blindfolded.
Yeah, like this. So nothing compared to what I faced early on.
And then when Get Rich or Die Trying first hit, and it was first, that's when we first spoke with you, our first interview, and first met you and everything. What that was like, I was explaining to people, okay, this is going to be really big, because we heard it popping on Hot 97, and the streets were really talking about it. But did you expect it to go that far, that fast?
No. The biggest record I seen prior to Get Rich Die Trying was All Eyes on Me, Tupac's double CD. It's so 5-minute record, so technically it was Diamond.
Right.
And Get Rich or Die Trying was 19 cuts. It was a 1 cut short of a double CD, and so 13 million like to date. So that it exceeded my expectations of success, that project. And then the second album, The Massacre, sold 10 million records. Like, and that's a lot. That was a whole career. Like, LL Cool J's Exit 13, my first album was that.
Right.
Like, it's just in 1 record. But, you know, like, L been on for so long that I've been watching him since. He's the blueprint. Him.
Right, exactly.
Him, Run
Another
DMC.
Queens guy, right?
Yeah.
Another something about Queens. When I first saw the date, that, okay, you're coming to the Barclays, you know, first night is tonight, August 9th. Mm-hmm. And then it's the week of the hip-hop 50th anniversary.
That's crazy.
That was not a coincidence, was it?
It was amazing timing.
It was the universe.
Yeah, the stars lined up for me this time. But this is exciting. Like, you know, to be back in New York on the anniversary, it's really cool.
Coming up, we'll have more with 50 Cent as he talks about his future and why at his level of success, he takes no shortcuts. Stay with us. Where do you feel hip-hop is now, though, the culture and the music?
I think we're in a good place, man. I think, look, I know the kids are hearing the older music. They're hearing 90s music, 90s R&B music the way we hear Motown music. Mm-hmm. Like, you can still hear the melodies and hear why the record was a hit, but they got a different tone or sound that's driving them right now, and I think that'll shift again. It won't stay in like this drill pocket. The drill sound in the music is going to move to something else.
So do you think that drill, speaking of drill music, there have been some very outspoken voices in hip-hop that say it's trash, that it's too violent, that it's just basically like gang anthems. What do you think about that?
I think it reflects what's going on in the inner cities, you know, because that's happening at the same time.
Right.
It's not, the music's not being created without a motivation. Like, when we made a lot of the street culture and hip-hop culture are very close to each other. That, like, the themes that are there are consistent within our culture.
When you were starting out, there were like some big names already, that early 2000s period, the biggest, like Jay-Z, Nas. Do you feel like now, like, okay, now I show people, like, where do you put yourself, like, in the hip-hop top, top tier?
I think hip-hop does that for you. They put you in the top 10. You can't put yourself. Right? Because I always was better than them.
Wait, you're so
I
modest.
was better than them forever. Like since I first came, I've been better than them. But I think hip hop has to put you in that spot. And there's look, I think when in those time periods, like I think there's peak periods.
Yeah.
Where the artist is peaking and they're in a great position. I don't think that they lose creative ability or skill in any way, but I think they lose that window, the window of them being a new hot thing within like, the music culture. And then at that point you would be focused on surviving.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of artists that come and go.
For sure.
In the culture, 1 song, 2 songs, and you never see them again.
Exactly.
And then there's the being able to survive and sustain relevance over time is, I think, a big accomplishment.
You've been on the cover a bunch of times, like Men's Health magazine, talking about your different health and workout routines.
Yeah.
Is there any 50 Cent, like diet trick or energy drink or trick that you like for this tour? I mean,
since what's the name? I've lost 30 pounds, 30 pounds since I shot the cover of Men's Health.
Wow.
Cause I had to look like 50 Cent. I was looking like, I was like security. Like this, look, oh, I'm big as hell, right? But that was because I was playing a character on ABC, and I had to be as big as possible, and it wasn't like in prison, the guys not working out, so they look cut up. Like they
just get big.
They want strength. Like, so if they hit you, you see a white light, like, and this fight is over. So that's what the goal was, to get into, lifting as heavy as weight as possible and trying to get as much. I was eating everything I could think of, like they could
really
put on the weight. And then I did, and I was 253. That was the most I weighed, like I've ever seen myself weigh, 253 pounds.
Wow.
And I shot the ABC show at that weight, and then when I looked at the scale, I always grew relief for this. Like I went to the doctor and everything. I take physicals and stuff before I go on a run like this, and I said 253. I said, what? Lisa, I've been hungry ever since. I've been hungry. I've been eating air and
water. I got some trail mix in my bag, organic trail mix, some little dried cranberries, and you can have some organic walnuts and some organic.
That's our secret. Yo, she gave up the secrets right there in front of y'all.
That's what it is. Eat like a bird. A little here and a little there.
That's what works. When the trainers.
Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly. Well, it's been great. Anything else you want to let people know about,
Oh, man, just that they got to check me out, man. I'm going to be here, New York City, in the Barclays. It's going down.
And that you're really talking to that lady.
That's
the
right.
One...
I'm really talking to that lady. And later, I'm going to talk to her again, and I'm going to tell you all the little secrets I had to tell you.
Up next, we'll take you inside City Hall in the mayor's office and explore why he's called the hip-hop mayor. That's coming up. Welcome back to the special episode of Street Soldiers. During my exclusive interview with Mayor Adams, he shared how hip-hop impacted his life. How did hip-hop first grab you?
I think growing up as a child, seeing it come into being, it's amazing sometimes you don't know what you are experiencing. I grew up in South Jamaica, Queens, where you had Run DMC, and I used to see them coming to and from in their concerts, carrying crates of records up the stairs. So, you just felt as though here was a sound that identified with you, and it was put into place that you didn't have to have a great voice. You didn't have to be a singer. It was just an everyday sound that you were able to, make happen. It was something that just caught on.
And I think that's one of the things, too. You talk about how organic hip-hop was to your daily life. That's the way it's been for so many of us. It's just, it was there. It was everywhere, basically.
Right. And you would run home every day after school to catch Ralph McDaniels on Video Music Box. And people just used to listen to, just the different tracks and the different beat, the cassette tapes, your Walkman, and hear them. What was interesting is how it was a motivator for me. like, you know, Public Enemy, Fight the Power. Hearing those songs while I was doing different things was just a real motivator.
And that's what I wanted to ask you, because what were some of the lessons or maybe just inspiration that you got from hip hop? Because here's a culture coming out of some of the most underserved communities in the United States, mostly black and brown women and men, people who had been marginalized, whose stories were not being told.
Right, right. No, they weren't. And, you know, it goes back to Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. So many of us was able to identify with what's going on in Marvin Gaye because they were talking about those issues, you know. And that's what hip-hop did. Not only did it help us enjoy this beats and the sounds, but you heard and you saw yourself. And then what people don't even realize, it branched out into a whole dress culture. You were able to see everyday actors wearing the clothing that you enjoy wearing and in the manner that you enjoy. So it was a whole different advertisement that no one was speaking to those issues before. No one was bold enough to connect the music to dress, to sound, and a whole style of its own. And, you know, you hear the narrative, you hear the storylines, and you realize that you're not the only person that goes through difficult moments, and we travel through them. And I just say that it is very much part of me. And, you know, the previous mayors could not say they were hip-hop mayors. I'm the hip-hop mayor.
Well, you're the first hip-hop mayor. That's why that's why it's a Lisa Evers exclusive, and we're talking to you. Mr. Mayor, in terms of, you recently unveiled this massive plan to deal with violence on a lot of different levels, and just culturally too, which I think is groundbreaking in a lot of ways. It's not just let's get the guns off the streets, which is happening. Let's, you know, provide youth programs, which more and more are being created, but it's kind of a seismic shift in consciousness. And is hip hop part of that too? Because there's a young generation now, as you know, these teenagers, especially the drill culture, which is the most popular with the young teens, where you feel they need to be embraced and brought into these hip-hop traditions, the positive ones.
Without a doubt, and particularly drill music. What it was is that you have rival gangs that were using drill music for retaliatory actions. We want to show how do you use your craft to uplift and not to destroy. And that is the purpose that we felt it was important to talk with a very popular version of drill music that's getting millions of views. And that's what we need to understand.
Right.
So those millions of views can motivate or they can devastate. And we were fighting against the devastation.
As you have your planning meetings and your brainstorm sessions and listen to all of the different people, and you're out talking with people directly in the community, and especially in the hip-hop community, do you plan to have more music programs? Like, I know PAL's looking at them, like we did with Push for Peace, but on a regular basis, where there's those ongoing conversations between generations, with law enforcement, with artists, with community, and with people who are on the formally involved in law enforcement, and not in a positive way.
Yes, no, without a doubt. Push for Peace was amazing. I mean, the events we used to do at Brooklyn Borough Hall and the crowds we would get, it was really ahead of its time. And I hope as we do an analysis of the 50 years of hip-hop, they will really document some of the things we did back then. And we want to continue to do that. Look at Chief Mandry, the chief of New York City Police Department. Right. He's a DJ. You know, and he'll get on the tables in a minute and do his thing. And so it's important to allow people to see the cross-section, the intersectionality of those of us who are playing these important policy-making roles, who have thought hip-hop would have brought us this far.
So this is the first time there's been any kind of official hip-hop artwork.
Right, right. Here at City Hall, and our goal was to use these posters to show the evolution. And you remember the good old days, $2, $3, $5, you know? And these are really iconic posters. And so as people come through here, we wanted them to see the role of, you know, hip hop and how it played a major influence in our community. Right next to my treadmill, we have our Public Enemy. This was an original poster that was given to me of a concert in London, and it was just amazing to see it, and having it here means a lot.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Street Soldiers, and special thanks to 50 Cent and Mayor Adams for giving us unprecedented access. You can watch the show again and share it on our Fox 5 NY YouTube page. Remember, use your mind as your best weapon. I'm Lisa Evers. Let's push for peace, love, and justice for all.